I'm Christian Abbott.
I'm Nathan Lavender.
I'm Sean Abbott.
And this is the Red Mist Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to episode 23 of the Red Mist Podcast, the Alex Albon episode. On tonight's episode, we talked NASCAR, the Roval at Charlotte, Formula One in soggy Suzuka, and Bathurst at soggy Mount Panorama.
Muddy.
Just before we delve into the NASCAR, did we have a kangaroo sighting on the track, or a wallaby, or any type of critters?
I think they were all nestled in their burrows.
Nestled in the burrows. They were all safe because of the rain. They didn't come out, so we didn't have any critters this year.
Either that or they got washed out.
We had critters last year. But anyways.
Like, they're jumping everywhere.
What, the kangaroos?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like during the 12-hour during the 12-hour race, they like to bounce out.
Jump around.
Jump.
And
then they try and clear the hood of a Ferrari 488.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't end well with the kangaroo cartwheeling off into the woods.
All right, dare I say it? Like, bloody hell.
Well, not so bloody, but just kangaroos bouncing around. But anyways. Crikey, mate. Anyways.
Well, that's what George was saying.
Yeah, crikey, mate. I didn't know George was Australian.
No, you didn't hear him in Singapore?
Yeah, no, but I didn't realize he was Australian, because that's a very Australian thing to say. I think, Danny Rick might say that. But anyways. Yeah. So, Nate, the Roval.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm going to, I was very excited the last couple of weeks to talk about it. Mm-hmm. The Xfinity race did not, the Xfinity race did go the way I thought. The Dinger won.
Yeah, like, he got his fourth one.
Yeah.
And he's undefeated at the Roval. He owns Xfinity.
In Xfinity, right? Because he's ever so close to in Cup.
Yeah.
So
he is. He's a fighting chance.
He does
in the Cup.
I was really kind of hoping, and then the Dinger won, but then Marco got like annihilated, which sucked. So I was like really waiting to see how well Marco was going to do. Then we get to the Cup race. I mean, all we got to do is say about the Xfinity race. Dinger won, so congrats to AJ.
Well, and I am going to give a quick shout out to Sage Karam. He almost won the thing.
Where did he finish?
He was like second and third at the very end.
Where did he finish?
He crashed.
Oh well, he didn't win then. He didn't almost win.
No.
So, anyways, I mean, that's good for Sage. He's definitely mounting a comeback, but you got to finish the race.
Yeah, none of the Nazareth, Pennsylvania drivers.
No, it was bad
finished.
weekend.
Yeah.
And then So let's move on to the Roval race. A lot of
the Cup race, anyway.
The Cup race. I'm sorry. The
Oh, good.
Fortunately, no rain, which was good.
I kind of wanted rain.
No.
They had no. The Xfinity race was pretty good in the rain.
I know, but I don't. It's a challenge without the rain. So
I think Cole Custer saw a puddle.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Or kangaroo.
Or
something.
Anyways, I was enjoying the race. There was the only really crummy thing is like on every restart there's just like it's like a demolition derby in turn one, but I don't think
really.
I don't think
so appropriate. Isn't it so appropriate? It's the Tums Heartburn turn.
Well, and
is that what they call it?
Yeah,
they actually have that sponsored. That's pretty good. I actually like that.
Everywhere.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it happens every year. Every year they do it.
But I mean, that was
so appropriate.
Yeah, that was just that kind of took away from the race a little bit. And I was like, it's turn one. What do you know?
Well, I mean, this is again.
Who's going to win from 23rd?
But this is why I don't watch NASCAR, because you're always guaranteed, or like 99% guaranteed,
some pile up.
That you're just going to have a 5-lap shootout at the end, and it's just and then everyone turns into a crash fest.
It is scripted.
I don't get it.
It is scripted.
Just make every race a 5-lap sprint, and don't even do qualifying. Just draw your starting position out of a hat. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm going to agree there.
Every week I get back to the same thing. It's just it's stupid.
Yeah.
Because the driving standards are just horrendous.
Yeah. No,
they actually do that. They actually do that at the Busch Clash. They draw a starting spot.
But is the Busch Clash can I just ask a question? Is that race really relevant?
No.
Right now, no.
Like years ago, it was relevant.
Right, they're trying to get it back in, though.
Yeah, but when you do it at the
Coliseum,
I mean,
it's not relevant.
That was adorable, but I don't ever want to go back there again.
No, and they're like,
are they going back there?
Ticket sales are on sale now.
Jesus.
Literally, once the race finished, they were like, tickets are on sale for next year.
Oh, God. All right. Well,
I know. It was back to Daytona.
It was adorable. But yeah, go back to Daytona and no restricted plates. All right, let's do that.
Yes.
How's that?
Yeah.
All right. So, Nate, can you give us a recap on the race? I mean,
like in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes. I'm not going to give you the F1 podcast where they make you do the race recap in a minute.
Right. So I'll kind of just the main things I saw was obviously this is a cutoff race from 12 to 8.
Yes.
And two drivers I thought that were like pretty safe in were Kyle Larson.
Yep.
And Daniel Suarez.
They were.
Daniel Suarez, he had no power steering, and he's working the NASCAR at a road course. Never mind the Roval. Oh my gosh, he had his daily workout for like 3 months combined in one day.
Yeah.
Like
I'll agree on that, because that was an issue throughout the race.
And then despite all efforts, he still was like a couple of points out. I think 5.
Yes.
But he drove all of his guts out.
So you're right. Yeah, he did. And then
I think Kyle Larson.
Yeah, he had an issue.
Kyle Larson. He had a mechanical issue of sorts.
And that's what killed him.
Yeah, and he was pretty worried at first. He was like, all right, this is like pretty serious, but he's actually got advanced into the next round by doing something even crazier when he was with Chip Ganassi. He literally brought a car ready for the junkyard, had to pass one car, and it was like Jeffrey Earnhardt or something was crashed. Excuse me, after there's the final chicane, and he passed them, and he was able to get in that way just by slamming into the wall. He had no steering.
But this year
was completely different.
We'll get to it. So he, fell foul. He had an issue with the rear end. It was I think a track rod or a tie rod busted in the number 5
tie rod.
Tie rod. Okay, so they had to replace that. Got back out, fought his way back up to where he was just above the cut line.
Like by 2 points, if anything.
Because the 20 points that he brought in from the regular season
were just evaporated.
Right. And the rest, up front, it was fun race up front.
It was. And Chase Elliott was leading a lot of it. And there was a point where it was Tyler Reddick and AJ Allmendinger. They pitted a little later than Chase Elliott on the final pit stop, and that was pissing me off because I'm like, you got to react to at this point, because if you're going to have a fighting chance to Chase Elliott, how are you going to leapfrog him? You got to do a similar pit sequence, because at the end of the tire stint, the tire fall off is pretty intense, and you're losing, I would say, a second and a half difference between new tires and older tires.
Right.
And you saw it happen.
Yeah.
You Tyler Reddick comes in, and then AJ Allmendinger. I guess he had to pit later because he had less fuel economy versus the other cars.
So yeah, he was out of sequence on the fuel stops.
Right. So by 4 or 5 laps.
Gotcha.
And so he pitted later, but lost all that time because of the tire wear. And so I was thinking, okay, maybe AJ Allmendinger could close that gap at the later stage of the final stint, but then we had cautions, and I mean it was bowling on the track.
Right.
What cracked me up was Tyler Reddick spinning Chase Elliott. That just had me on the floor laughing my ass off.
And why is that?
Well, because at Watkins Glen, when Chase Elliott was kind of annoyed by Kyle Larson moving him wide in turn 1.
Yeah.
On the final lap, the final left-hander, he just threw Tyler Reddick off course just out for what? I don't know. He used him as his brakes.
Gotcha.
And then now it's just it's kind of funny, seeing that going full circle. I don't know if Tyler Reddick totally meant it. But I mean, it just seemed like the perfect circle for road course racing between those two. And then it was just chaos after that. And Christopher Bell, where did he come from? He needed to win, and he was 53 points out too. He had to win. Finishing second was not good enough. He had to win, and this, I mean, call it a clutch performance or what, but I mean, this is. He walked it off.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool to see.
Did I and I might have missed this, and I apologize. Did the Russian torpedo take out Joey Hand?
I don't think so.
Because Joey Hand DNF'd at 38th position, and the torpedo DNF'd at 39th.
I know Danny Caffey at least said on Twitter he had a mechanical issue.
All right. So you didn't. I just, just when people go out about the same time, that when you finish kind of near Caviet,
yeah,
and then wasn't a great day for Connor Daly.
No,
had a lot of flat tires,
and I think an electrical fire under his steering.
Oh, good. So he caught on fire. That's not good.
Yeah. And it's not his first time. He caught. Remember, he caught on fire on the pace laps at Indy when he was in the 43 car.
Yep.
He's Jesus. I mean, I don't know if that is just following him or what.
Another person that had a tough day was Austin Sedrick. He got done in by some ass hattery on the track.
Yeah, and the final restart, he was actually going to be okay.
Right.
If it stayed green.
Yeah.
He would have advanced through, and I think Kyle Larson as well. Yeah. Not Chase Briscoe and I mean, Christopher Bell needed that restart too.
Right.
He needed the caution because those 2 cautions brought him closer and closer to the front.
Had we not had the the late caution.
Which one? All 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think
cautions breed cautions?
Because the cautions I think hurt Allmendinger.
They did and didn't. The first 2 gave him a fighting chance to Chase Elliott, and then they were door banging after one restart. And AJ Allmendinger, I think, overdrove the next corner, and Harvick took the lead.
Okay, yeah, I remember, and I know Harvick was up there, which must have really made NASCAR happy because they're big Kevin Harvick fans.
Huge Harvick fans.
I just I like the fact that he says what he wants, so it's all right with me. And then Christopher Bell, welcome to Victory Lane, which was great. Good for him.
Yeah, he and a lot of people kind of hint towards him being the weak link at Joe Gibbs. So this was pretty cool to see.
How could he be considered the weak link when he got invited back and Kyle Busch didn't?
Maybe it's.
I could understand if he's the cheaper link, but I mean, I just can't see like how you get rid of.
I mean, he's
the main
in the dirt world. He's like
but I just don't understand. I just don't understand if you're Gibbs, you get rid of Kyle Busch. You know,
I mean, where are you going to put Ty Gibbs? Right? I mean, I think that's his number one worry.
Yeah, that's my number one worry. Jesus, way to put Ty Gibbs. All right, how about he stays in Xfinity for another couple of years? That'd be good. Anyways, so that, but Kyle finished third. The Dinger was fourth. Now, this is my driver of the race. Okay, the last few races, up until he got eliminated, was Tyler Reddick.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go Justin Haley.
Yeah, right. There's 2 calling cards in the top 5.
Right. That's pretty cool. But he was around all day. He was around all weekend.
Right. He was up to speed, and he was consistently in the top 5, top 10, worst case scenario during his race. That leaf filter Chevrolet was pretty. I mean, could contend for the win almost.
Right. And then another driver who bounced back from a rough weekend at Texas was Corey Lajoy with a decent 12th place finish. I know it's 12th.
But after what he's gone through throughout the race.
Right. And exactly, he's not driving, for a top money team,
No, Spire Motorsports and his teammate, he beat Mike Rockenfeller. I mean, that's what I'm kind of chuckling at. Like,
well,
I know Mike Rockenfeller doesn't have a lot of seat time in NASCAR versus Corey
So
Lajoy,
I mean, like, can we, when guys jump in and they finish the race, that's fine. I mean, 9 times out of 10, when Rockenfeller's in there, really, he's just gaining experience for Garage 56 next year.
When it's announced.
It will be announced.
Yeah, right.
And he
Mike Rockenfeller.
Do you want to guess who's going to be joined by?
Are we going to say it's 4 drivers? I will say it's going to be.
How many drivers would you have, Christian, in that? How many drivers do they typically have in the GT cars? 3, right?
3.
Typically 3, but if you're going to do this for show, you might as well have 4 because it's not like it's going to matter.
Right. Well, I haven't given I will give the 4th announcement, but Rockenfeller's going to definitely be 1.
Well, okay, then I would say like Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon are definitely.
There you go. That's good, Nate.
And
You're on the same page. And number 4.
Junebug?
No.
No.
I don't know if would Dale's wife let him run?
I'm sure if it's an exhibition race such as this.
I was gonna say it's not like he has any really skin in the game.
They're not fighting.
No,
for
I
first.
know, but I mean, she's okay with him doing the, when he's doing the short track stuff like Wilkes-Barre and stuff, which is pretty cool, I think. But I don't know.
Look, it's not like these cars aren't safe.
It's a GT3 car.
Yes.
Right.
It's built safe.
I know, but it hauls ass, and he's got a history of concussions.
Yeah, all right.
That's my only. That's my only concern. Like, I don't want him. I don't want the poor guy getting rammed in like the Porsche Curves by some guy in a prototype, which is possible based on some of the stuff we've seen of late. But anyways, I don't want to see that. I'm gonna go Kyle Larson.
Oh, okay.
Now that would be
current, but
that would be fun.
If it's a current Cup driver, wouldn't that be a scheduling conflict? I'd imagine.
I have no idea. I'm not really.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not really. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
So Jeff and Jimmy are definitely in. Oh, then Dale. Dale's got nothing else to do. He can come.
Yeah, because look, Jeff Gordon, I don't think really is doing anything.
I was
Jimmy
almost.
Johnson,
you know what? I was actually going to say this, but then I realized now he's got a full-time ride for next year. They could put the dinger in the car.
Oh yeah.
That
would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'd be all for that.
I would too. What if we got Willie? What if they got Willie T to come out from retirement? That would be hilarious. That would be awesome.
Ribs?
Yeah,
that would be so.
That would be
cool.
a show.
You mean Boris isn't going to get in the car?
No, no. I got something even better.
Boris. No, I don't. No, that's like having. No, because that's like having.
Boris would be good.
Boris would be good, but Tony Stewart. That's like an AJ going to Le Mans. I know he won it. It's just I don't know.
They need to be
like Willie T would be good. Willie T, they finish the race, he'll jump up on the hood, do the dance. It'd be, just because they finished, which would be cool.
Yeah.
Plus, I still think he can wheel. I think he just needs to. He's like me. He's got to lose some weight. But anyways, that'd be cool though. Willie T, that'd be fun. That would be awesome.
Well, speaking of which, I think Willie T needs to do the SRX series.
Didn't he do it?
He's commentating.
No.
Oh, he's commentating. Can we get him behind the wheel?
Right?
Yeah. Oh, that'd be fun.
That'd
He'd be awesome.
So sick.
He would be.
He would win the championship.
He would be.
You would win the championship.
Oh, he could definitely win it. Anyways, well, maybe Marco. He's got nothing else. There's no IndyCar conflict.
No, there wouldn't.
No,
be.
he's right. He's just fighting for the Indy 500.
That would be.
Or
unless he goes full time in Xfinity.
Well,
right? So.
let's just take it to the real next level. I could take it to 2 ex-Formula 1 drivers.
JPM. No.
He'll be there in a prototype.
Oh yeah,
Now,
that's right. Yeah, because he'll be running with his kid.
Just for the show, Kimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here just to drive the car. Or how about this? Sebastian Vettel.
In a NASCAR?
Come on.
What if he hasn't made a start?
Kimmy made one start in a truck. And he was fine.
And Xfinity.
Why can't Project 91 bring Sebastian over next year? He can come to Watkins Glen.
They can. Should. I'm not saying they won't. I think that's a little bit more of a reach right now, just because there haven't been any.
Maybe Project 91 could bring Willie T back. That'd be awesome.
But also, he hasn't really come out with any news of what he plans on doing, anyways. Other
Sebastian.
Than hanging out with family.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Anyways, we'll get onto that. At the end of the season.
Or he's going to be the new FIA.
Or the
director.
new Formula E champion. Anyways,
that's what I mean. Yeah. He's going to go to Formula E.
All right.
I really see that happening.
All right. I think we've had enough fun with that.
Yeah.
Went on that's a little sidetrack tangent, but anyways,
fell off the rails.
So we're off to Las Vegas and the South Point 400,
and then to Florida, and then back to Phoenix.
No, there's something in between.
No.
There's the Dixie. Oh no, that's
Texas.
Yeah.
Texas.
No,
whatever they're doing, they got to go from Vegas to
Florida. Then they go to Martinsville.
Oh,
how did we forget Martinsville?
And then they go to Phoenix. So you go from West Coast to East Coast to back to eventually back to West Coast.
I know. And we got the Martinsville. We get the Xfinity 500 in Martinsville. 500 laps on the bull ring. That'll be fun.
Could be worse.
Isn't that the paperclip?
The paperclip.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Well, think about this.
Right.
Think about this. It could be worse. It could be more worse than the F1 2023
So for the
F1 schedule.
South Point 400, is Brendan Gaughan coming out? Since his family owns
he should come up for the
his family owns the
race.
South Point casinos. Yeah, will he be out for that, you think?
I hope so.
That'd be fun.
That'd be sick.
Right.
Yeah, I like Brendan Gaughan.
I do too. Played basketball at Georgetown.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Right. Yeah.
So let's and obviously we had some big shakeout in the points. So Larson's out
as of right now.
Well, I don't know if they're going to continue that, but
I think he's out.
I think he's out.
And Suarez and Sedrick are out.
No.
And Tyler Reddick, he was out the last round, right? Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Right, and William Byron admits to wrecking people and advances. So.
Right. But that's not as bad as
who, Sean?
I just let me just put it this way: Chase Briscoe should not be in this.
Nope.
No,
not at all.
Not at all.
Did you hear the radio
Yes.
whatever radio communication between the teams? You got a flat tires, so check up. Where is it? There's no tire smoke. How can the spotter see that far? Right?
So
they don't have sensors in the car to tell, do they?
No, they don't.
No,
because
especially doesn't.
Does not.
Okay. I'm just checking. It seems very simple that you can put on the car.
If they did, Color Lajoy wouldn't have smacked the wall like he did last week at Texas, which was
That's right.
Which was a ton.
That's right.
Holy hell. I mean, I'm still. I feel every time I see a clip of that thing, I still feel it. And I'm surprised he walked away from it. I mean, look at Cody Ware. He had a tire failure, and he's he's still out. So yeah. So Cole Custer, and shenanigans in NASCAR. I'm shocked, absolutely shocked that he would do what he did.
Do what?
I don't know. Let his teammate pass two guys from a bazillion miles away on the last lap.
You mean that wasn't a legit 2-car overtake into the bus stop?
No, that was not a legit 2-car take.
Well, do you want to hear something?
All right. Because is this, Nate, you said before we started the show do you want to have your little rants here?
What? Yeah, with Scott Miller?
Oh, well, you can just give us your take on the Cole Custer incident.
I mean, how are you going to, there's a lot I could say about this, but I mean, you're going to block two cars?
Not one.
And two. And NASCAR's Scott Miller. This is what kind of okay. I'm gonna say this and then kind of backtrack to tell you what I think. Okay, Scott Miller, who doesn't wear glasses, said the penalty would have been bigger if this got Chase Briscoe into the round of 8. I mean, he's in the round of 8.
Yes, he is.
So, what does that mean?
He is sitting in. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Sorry.
He's
I'm
8th.
Sorry. He is 8th. So does that mean that Kyle Larson's in, as Christian alluded to?
No, but if NASCAR is consistent,
it's just not official.
It's
under review.
It's unofficially official, right?
Gotcha.
Or officially unofficial.
Gotcha. All we know is Brad Keselowski's not in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks.
He wasn't in to start with. So
right.
He only got one win this year.
Yeah.
He won a qualifying race.
I think we're all pretty. It was shoddy. It was shaky.
I just watched the extended highlights
review, and it was still shaky. And
was. At first, I was like, "Oh, you know what? Whatever, nice move." And then, but I turned it off after that because the minute I saw last caution was with 5 to go, whatever, within 5 laps to go, I'm like, it doesn't even matter because it's just rigged.
Now, so again, voice of reason in the announcing booth, Dale Jr. keeps his mouth shut till afterwards. Meanwhile, jumping Jeff Burton goes out of his mind, going, what a move! And it's like, hey, dummy,
come on,
dummy, that wasn't a move.
That was not a move. That was Cole Custer going, I better break early.
That was definitely what that was. Anyways, someday NBC will get it right, but we'll see.
I don't know. I think NBC's got a lot of work to do with every announcer that they got.
They got a lot of work to do with every sports announcing, yeah.
Every 5-minute commercial that they want to take in racing.
Jesus.
NASCAR side by side.
Overhyping.
There was one fan that watched one of the 24-hour races.
He counted the ads.
He totaled the amount of ads over the race, and over one third of the race was ads.
Yeah. 8 hours.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh man, how did Brad Doherty do in the pit box? I always love when Brad's on with Kyle. I don't know what they bring to the show.
It was Dale Jarrett and Kyle Petty this time.
Was it Dale Jarrett? Oh, Brad. Oh, Brad wasn't there because it was he's from Charlotte and it's a home game or something.
Maybe. I mean, that's what I was thinking.
Or was he? Is he on the box rooting on Ricky Stenhouse?
Yeah, right. I mean, is Ricky Stenhouse going to win a road course?
Yeah.
I think we'll see pigs fly before that happens.
All right. So let's
it's been almost 30 minutes. We've been talking NASCAR. I think it's time to move on.
All right. So, look forward to next year's Roval race. Hopefully, we won't have the controversy. All right, let's move to F1. Speaking of controversy. Anyways.
Just one to the next.
One to the next. And once again, another organization shooting itself in the foot constantly.
Yeah.
Anyways,
First off, just let's skip to the end. Congrats for Max on the second world title.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Look,
dominant drive.
And secondly, the rules are after a red flag and the race is restarted, full points are awarded.
Yes. And
that is
that's
the
what
rule.
I think a lot of people didn't know how the points were awarded.
That's fine. That's the rule. But the way everyone else was interpreting the rules and the way that they made it sound,
was
apparently
that Sky F1? Thank you.
No. This was also apparently how everyone else
was David Croft
interpreted the
looking
rules.
for some way how Max would lose points and Lewis would become world champion.
So, okay. So before this race. Before I watched this race, I watched it on ESPN. But as I was scrolling to get to the replay, because Max won the title, and this is the only time that ESPN ever announces anything on F1, they have on the headline Max wins the title. So
you watched it on delay.
Yeah, I didn't stay up for it.
Well, the race was at like
it was at 1 a.m. and then
let me
start.
I'm just gonna qualify this. I was on Nantucket, and I saw the start in a bar.
Oh,
because they had ESPN on, and I was like, "Oh, this is the start." And then, but it also had been delayed. Was the race delayed? No, it wasn't delayed. It wasn't delayed like Singapore. No. So the race started, and Max was into turn one, and I went. Gets around Leclerc, and I said, well, that's it, race over. And then I just kind of walked away and went home.
Yeah.
And, I didn't, and I got home, and then I flip on, and I said, I got to watch from this point on, I'm going to watch the race.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh my God, 4 hours of rain delay here. Which, honestly.
I was glad I slept through it because I didn't want to sit through 2 hours of red flag.
First off, hats off to both Charles and Max. Turn one was awesome.
Yes.
It was exciting. They both held the lines, showed that they could do it. Charles proved that if a car passes him on the left, he doesn't need to turn into it like the Mercedes somehow do.
Right.
So the Fright doesn't have a magnet to the rear of
as much
of
as the two Mercedes do.
I got you.
Okay,
yeah.
so you
or a steer.
He proved that two cars can go into the corner, and he'll fight you for it.
Yeah.
And he did almost.
Even though there was a gap, he is still a racing car driver. Yeah.
So I will say this: he kept his foot into it, and I know Max got just in front of him in the spray. But if you watch that when they came out of the turn 1-2 complex, he hit a puddle. And the Ferrari just went whoop, I was like, holy crap! Like it was a great job by him to hang on. I mean, sadly, Carlos, a couple turns later, he hit one of those creeks and went right off. That's the way it goes, So that leads us to the most controversial part of the race.
Yep.
Not the FIA awarding points.
Well, because that's not there. No, the rules in there.
That's right.
Oh, sorry. Before we even get to the red flag, this controversy. I got you.
Well, there was controversy when the red flag came out.
Yes,
because we were under yellow behind the safety car, and for the love of God, at Suzuka, do not deploy a tractor on the track until the entire field is lined up behind the pace car. Yeah. Okay? Because Pierre Gasly was not.
No.
Okay? Because he had to come in the pits and get an advertisement off the front of his car.
Yeah.
Okay? So, two options there. Okay? Throw the red flag immediately. That would have, as Gasly was in the pit lane, he would have been frozen in the pit lane because the red flag would have come out. It didn't because they still were under yellow. Or when the car, like Sainz's car was actually in a bad spot, period.
Yeah.
Throw it right away. Like it was in a bad spot.
Yeah.
It couldn't move. He couldn't move it. He couldn't get the car to safety. He couldn't do anything. And at the simultaneously, we had, Alex Albon had a mechanical failure.
Right.
So we have two cars off the track, but you have a car that's technically on the racing line. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was 3/4 on the racing surface. Yeah. And I'm like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. That's a red flag. First off, Carlos trying to get out of the car. Secondly, it's pouring buckets.
Yeah, never mind the 10 meters that right. They can see in the spray. You know?
Right. And, so, they just keep going on. And, for whatever reason, whoop, we'll let the, Tonka truck onto the track.
Yeah.
To go pick up Carlos's car. Now, as, I think it's, I watched this guy won because I was really hoping Max was going to win because I really wanted to see Croft just kind of eat it. Yeah. But he just because God, he just praised. Anyways, but DeResta pointed out because he's raced there in WEC.
Yeah,
how tight that track is, and he's right. And he's like, in WEC, go to he pointed out. He brought up a good point. You could go to a slow zone there. Mm-hmm. If you went to a slow zone there, they're crawling through there. Yeah, and Gasly would have been because the slow zone doesn't start right there. It starts one zone back.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have gone through there like he did.
Right.
He was going through at the yellow flag, so he had reduced pace.
Okay, so if you're talking about the area that he got the penalty for, it wasn't that section.
After that.
It was after that.
Because when he got there,
yeah.
If you watch the
board of him.
Actually, if you watched DeResta, Karun Shandok, and Johnny Herbert explain it. Mm-hmm. When Gasly got there, right when he got to the car, that's when the red flag went. Mm-hmm. So his car didn't react,
right?
Because it's got to take. It takes whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't just go, boop,
No, it takes a second to.
So it takes some time, and the next thing you know, he's nailed with a 20-second penalty, and he's getting yelled at left and right, and he was absolutely right. He was just going. He was going the pace he was going, and it was just because it was in the rain. It looked worse than what he was doing, but also that car was not his car, but Sainz's car was because Max had to go off onto the grass when they went through there one time. He got in the pace car, so I mean, yeah, there's some stuff that's got to be looked at. I mean, just that should have been in the conditions it was. That should have been a red flag. Mm-hmm. I'm going to even go back to Monza when Ricardo, and that took forever to get done. I know it was under a pace car, but still, red flag it.
I mean,
okay,
that's a little different because of how close to the end it is.
Yeah, but he was not in a spot where a tractor could get to it quickly.
I agree with that, but this is okay. So this is my take with safety cars, just across the board. If you want everyone to slow down, do what WEC does, and you make slow zones, and then you literally have to put on what's basically the pit speed button, and you can't go over that speed.
Right, and then and they did this at Le Mans. There's slow zones, and then the pace car picks you up.
Yeah,
that's what they should do.
Right. So it forces you to do that. However, the only thing I'm going to say about that is, granted, all the drivers or some people are putting out there that the amount of downforce that these cars generate, that it's actually worse to go slower. And but my point is, regardless of whatever you do, Jules' incident wouldn't have mattered what speed you went at, because whether you were going fast or slow, you were going to aquaplane there.
He aquaplaned off.
And so in Carlos's accident and in the situation, and this is my gripe with the FIA, and they're always about in this situation, they don't look at it as in this situation. They look at it as they try to apply it generally across everything. So like you said with Ricardo's accident, what you should do in the Sainz incident at Japan, you should have done for the Ricardo incident at Monza.
Okay.
Right. So
yep.
That's okay. If you want to take that route, that's fine. My point of view is, I think it should be situational based, because I think the rain, you can treat it differently than you can treat the dry.
Yeah.
But I think you can do both of them in a safe manner and not ruin anything.
My only thing is, and get Nate's take on it, but my thing was that just there's been incidents at Suzuka with safety cars, like guys pulling off. Martin Brundle brought up one where he was involved in an aquaplaning incident and actually, like, there was a marshal somehow, whatever, in the wrong spot at the wrong time, like he clipped them. There's some other stuff going back, and it's just the track's safe. It's just
the process of retrieving
the cars. Now, should you look to doing what they do at some of the tracks where they have cranes? Quite possibly, that would probably be the best solution at that track, especially in certain areas.
Yeah,
I think where Carlos was, that definitely could have been. There's definitely some spots where I think in these questionable spots, a crane would be better because then it's just you don't have something moving that's got to back around. Whereas the crane comes down, whoop, picks it up, pulls it off, and not away we go. But that's just my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Anytime an intervention vehicle gets on the track, even the pace car, that's always an issue.
Yeah.
So
because Bathurst, there was a truck on the track.
Oh yeah,
and they were going through pit stops, and it screwed one of the guys coming out for a position.
Yeah,
because he had to check up, and it was just a bad spot.
I mean, that's it's just not acceptable. I mean, I think like when the field gets kind of crunched behind the pace car.
Yeah.
As they cleared that incident, that would have brought them proper amount of time to get the car moved once. Again, everyone now knows what's going on. They come by the pits, and then they, FAA, somebody in the race control should be telling them, this is, stay in line. We're going through this again. And that's where I think the communication just falls off.
Yeah.
I don't think, because in the WEC races, Eduardo Freitas, I know he's like, I don't think he was at this race.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to him in the room.
He's very clear as to what's going on. So I don't know. We don't hear that now because of Christian and Toto's little tay-to-tay with race control. So we don't get that anymore. So I don't know. Nate, what's your take on it?
Well, I just think it's so crazy that in 8 years ago we had a tragedy, and I just don't understand how we haven't learned from that.
Gotcha. That's fair.
It's plain and simple. If you're gonna have marshals or emergency vehicles go on track, there needs to be no F1 cars on the track because the closing rate is just too extreme for that to even be considered. Because, I mean, think about it. Like, if you're taking a crane or whatever, or like a construction vehicle or something, and it's still going human walking pace, which it's not an F1 car, and the closest non-F1 car to F1 speeds is the pace car or the safety car. And
true.
So I mean, if you take that school of thought, I think you need to revisit what happened 8 years ago and really take to heart, okay, it's either F1 cars and safety cars on track or marshals and like other medical cars or whatever.
I know there was people like taking Gasly to the woodshed, but
that's not.
It's
and this is the thing. Everyone's gonna have an opinion on this, but just remember that everyone would probably have done close to what Gasly would have done if you're the one in the car.
Right. Now,
exactly.
Exactly. And we never heard this from the team. Did someone on the team say anything to him? Again, you don't see. That's the stuff we don't hear.
Because as the driver, you don't have it. It's not like any video games or anything like that where you have a lot of information on the screen. You have nothing in front of you.
All he knew was there was a yellow.
Yes.
He just had pitted.
Yeah.
So somebody on the team should have said, "Hey, you're going to come up on a situation."
Right.
Now, I tend to believe that doesn't happen in IMSA, but Formula One. It just doesn't seem like they have spotters or even if they're allowed.
Well, I think this gets back into how much information can you convey across to them.
Okay,
and I guess what is that? What's the writing of the rule?
Well, but they also like when they pit you early that they're going to dump you into an open space. Everybody knows that. So
right.
I mean, a driver knows that, but I think in a situation where safety comes into play, there should be. Yeah. I don't know. We didn't hear if they said anything, meaning that I just personally think that there should be some mandatory, like they do in WEC. Safety car in 15 seconds. We have an incident in turn 2. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. And the implied thing there is communicate that to your drivers. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, and actually, does the race director have communication with the drivers in the car or no?
That's another question. I don't know.
Because isn't WEC like that?
I think that is.
I think it's one-way communication.
Right. One-way communication. That's fine. But I couldn't remember if it's to the teams or if it's to the drivers.
It's to the teams. I don't know if that goes to the drivers.
Okay.
But that information is immediately relayed to the drivers. Now it might be when he makes that announcement that is over pit wall drivers in the garage, not so that the guys know, because I'm sure as soon as they're like it's like I got a yellow flag.
Yeah.
But I was kind of I don't know, just it was bothersome. I think Gasly took the brunt of it for no reason. Mm-hmm. We're gonna go into the rules are rules, and I'm going. He literally got to the scene and went past it in the red. I mean, instantaneously. Mm-hmm. Like, how is his car doesn't? It's all electronic when it goes to red. Like, it's an electronic override on your driver's thing. When they're green, when the track goes yellow, it's an override to the steering wheel.
I don't think so.
It is. They showed it. They showed it on They showed it on the post race show. Actually, they showed it in between.
I know they give you a delta of what you have to do, but I think you're in control and you have to manage that delta.
But when it flipped, it went yellow to red. He had passed the thing when it went to red. So once he went into the red zone, he was dead. No pun intended.
Yeah.
He was caught speeding. Mm-hmm. And that was the whole thing, the whole premise that I think everyone's kind of going to Gasly's defense is he was in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Mm-hmm. But I watched it, and those guys explained it, I thought, pretty well.
Okay.
I think Johnny Herbert was a little bit much with the hyperbole. He was saying he was like 250 kilometers an hour. He wasn't going that fast.
Yeah.
I think he was using kind of alliteration on that. But I mean, those guys were right. I mean, but I mean, Jensen was kind of a voice of reason on it too. So
yeah.
It was tough situation. I feel bad for Gasly. Yeah. It shouldn't have happened, and he personally shouldn't be penalized.
But I mean, post race, Lando and Checo voiced their concerns. So
Lando did it red flag.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
which was even better.
Yeah.
Checo after the race was pretty animated. So, that was a bummer. And then sadly we had to wait out the rain. I mean, because it did just start bucketing down after that. I mean,
well, I slept through it, right? So
when I started, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I was like, how long? Then I was really getting to the kind of where it's you get to the point you're kind of looking, and I don't need the guys in the paddock area talking to me. I just can we get to the race? And it was like, oh well, we think it's brightening. We had weatherman Ted Kravitz out there. That was good.
Yeah, right.
It was the weather duo of Ted Kravitz and David Croft. Although Ted, I believe more because he was actually out in the elements, unlike Crofty. And then, did we hear from George during that incident? I mean, during the complaints or anything? During that that slow time.
I think he said something after the race, but
after the race.
Honestly, with the amount of complaining he was doing during the weekend, he was like the boy who cried wolf. I just didn't care at the point from it.
Just tuned it out. And then, then we picked up, went back racing. We had, like 32 minutes of race?
30 to 40 minutes of racing.
Yeah, something like that. Max just
checked out.
Wins by 26 seconds after 30 minutes. It's like it was like 3/4 of a second a lap. He was like clapping faster than everybody else. That was I don't mean to laugh, but that was kind of funny. But I did enjoy the kind of quickie pit stops. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was like back in the old, back a couple of years ago when the double stacking came in. I loved it.
Yeah.
Especially because George got boned on it, so that was all right.
Yeah, right.
So, what did he think? Can I ask a question? Did he really think that they were gonna they pit him first versus Lewis?
This is the thing I don't get. Like, do these guys have brains when they're driving? Because sometimes it's just like they don't see outside their own race.
Like, give us an instance in this. I'm just curious. Trying to understand what you're just saying, I guess.
Of the drivers that are on the grid, I would say Max, Carlos, and Lando are very level-headed when they're in the car.
Charles gets a little...
No. Max, Lando, and Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos.
Right. I'm not saying Charles.
Look, Charles gets a little...
Right, but
he gets when he gets hyper.
When any of the engineers talk to those three drivers, they can not only understand, but then think about strategy, a counter strategy, and offer alternative, like have an actual conversation as they're going.
I think Alonso and Vettel do. We just never hear it now.
So that's where I'm starting. If they were ever caught in that position, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, we're gonna double stack, right? I know Max got a little hot-headed at Singapore, but that's also when you throw something on them really fast and you just don't understand the change, you kind of have to go through with it. But if your communication is clear, right, and you're getting it consistent, right, and you're explaining why you're doing the things the way you are, and then you have trust in your team that after the race you can go back and look at it and see if it was the right one or the wrong one. That helps with just assuring yourself of whatever decision is made, you're going to go with it, and so be it. Because, George, it's a team that wins, not one driver.
Right. And he should have known. He was behind the 8 ball all weekend. Okay, he was not the fastest driver on the Mercedes thing. Lewis was fighting for a podium.
Mm-hmm.
So the front 3 pitted.
Yep.
So it only makes sense that he pits.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing was they weren't going to leave George out there because they knew how much time he would have lost on that one lap. And it's like you're pit, and he comes in and he's just caterwauling.
Yeah.
And it's like, George, you know what? If you stayed out there, you wouldn't have finished. Where did we say you finished? He finished 8th. He could have finished 11th.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's
like at this point, he should really thank his team for not finishing behind GoTV.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, he really needs to start rethinking stuff that he says because he's really getting to be a bore.
Yeah.
Fast. And I think a lot of people are starting to kind of do that. I need to go kind of watch the F1 TV broadcast because I'd like to get Julian's intake on that. That would have been fun. I mean,
and also, isn't George also turning into a commentator? He's complimenting on his pass.
Yeah. He's giving himself a pat on the back when he went around the outside.
Of who?
Who was it? Mick?
Latifi and with someone else too.
When he passed
it was Yuki Tsunoda.
When he passed an AlphaTauri and a Williams, he was patting himself in a Mercedes. He was patting himself on the back. Okay.
Battling for 11th in a Mercedes.
Did Checo do that?
He was battling for 11th in a Mercedes, right?
Right.
I thought this time last year that was unacceptable for Bottas to be fighting for 11th in a Mercedes.
Let me just say this to George. You should give Sebastian Vettel a pat on the back after he passed you.
And then Aston Martin, no less.
Yeah. And Fernando. I will say the battle of the race.
Yeah.
was Ocon Hamilton.
Yeah,
that was fun.
That was.
Oh my God,
I do agree with Button that I would have liked to see Alonso after they put the tires on towards the end of the race and his drive. Yeah,
if they kind of swapped places with Ocon or just
no. So the whole majority of that
section of the race
was Ocon and Hamilton,
you're right,
which was fine.
It was, but it was good dicing.
But they didn't show, which Button was alluding to the whole time. He was like, Alonso is coming. Like, let's go watch that.
Did he pass Georgie Porgy?
Yes, he did.
Oh, okay, all right.
And he also passed Latifi, and he almost at the line got Vettel.
Right.
So,
yeah, right.
Actually, another shout out on the race, Sebastian.
Yes.
Who spun out and then fought his way back.
Yeah.
So, well done to him, sir. Mm-hmm. And well done to the GOAT, to Latifi.
Yes.
Got points.
Scored some points.
With an S.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So good for him. I'm gonna miss him.
He hasn't done anything. Like,
I'm gonna miss him.
That's the thing. Yeah.
I'm just gonna miss him. Well, we did go down the road the wrong way.
Right, like who's the best driver?
So he made up a longer track and still got points this weekend.
It's not like Kimi didn't do that in Brazil.
I was gonna say,
but I'm gonna miss him. I don't know. He just seems like a gentleman.
He's not a dick.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Or a snitch.
Right.
He just only runs over groundhogs. That's all.
Yeah. He just kills groundhogs.
But he had empathy when he did that. He felt bad about that.
Well,
no. You know what?
That's a fellow Canadian citizen.
That was a Canadian groundhog.
No, because it was a groundhog from Quebec. So,
is he Toronto?
I think so.
I think he. You know what? He might.
That.
You better be careful on that. I think Stroll is Montreal though.
Nicholas Latifi's going to send you a hate email.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he is. Oops.
He's from Montreal. Is Stroll from? Where's Stroll from?
Sorry.
I know Hinchcliffe's from Ontario, as they say.
Lance is also from Montreal. Okay. All right. Never mind.
Geez.
They just killed the neighbor.
Yeah, they're gonna be.
My bad.
You're gonna be. The Quebecois is gonna be after you.
Oh, that's if they can get over the border to me.
We won't be buying some smokes in Montreal.
Anyways, off the island.
Yeah, off the island. So, anyways, and then Checo and Leclerc, good battle at the end.
Yeah.
Yes. Did Leclerc gain advantage? Yes.
And he even admitted it.
He admitted it.
Yeah.
However, there was a ton of pressure.
Oh yeah.
So, and I don't. I think honestly, if it was not raining, that wouldn't have happened.
No.
I don't. Ooh, I hope they wouldn't have collided. That would have been messy.
Oh, okay. So getting back to how I saw the result before I even watched the race. During that whole broadcast, and they were alluding to the points being, half points. In my head, I'm like, well, how does this make sense that Max can win if it's only half points?
Was this Crofty was alluding to this?
Yeah. So I ruined the result for myself before I watched. Okay. I only saw that Max won. I didn't know who finished second and third. But so as I was watching it, I'm like, okay, well, if it's half points and Max needs this amount of points, that means Leclerc and Perez crash.
So.
Which I thought that was going to happen in the last lap, but then it didn't, and then that's why I was watching with all that confusion.
It's going to be Senna Prost or
between those two? No. I just figured it would have been wet, and someone would have made a mistake, and
Senna Prost into the first corner. They take each other out. No. Last corner too, because that's where it happened. Yeah, that was a good battle, but Charles knew it, but what's he going to do? He's fighting. Crikey, he's fighting for his life.
Yeah.
Don't tell George that. Jesus. Anyways, so tough break for Charles. But it is what it is.
Next year.
Oh God. So yeah, and then you had the best ones. They come in, like they do the pull the cars in, to the top three, and Johnny was it Johnny Herbert?
Yeah,
they had Johnny Herbert down there. It was awesome. I love that guy.
Yeah,
he's a blast. Sometimes he doesn't know what's going on.
He won Grand Prix, and it was the European Grand Prix in the most unexpected way. So
I think he won 2.
2? Oh, I thought it was the 1.
No.
Because he won at the Nürburgring at the European Grand Prix.
Yeah, and I think he also won. I think he also won the British Grand Prix, and I think that was in the Benetton.
Oh, that's cool. Home Grand Prix win. Anyway, sorry.
Hold on, Christian's.
Keep going. I'll find it.
All right. So they pull in. Max jumps out. He's like, oh, it's like I won the race. So he goes over, jumps on the crew, comes back. And then, Checo's there, Charles is there, and they're getting ready for the interview thing. So they do the interview, and Johnny's going, he's just talking like, Max kind of thinks it's like they didn't do all the points, Yeah. So Max didn't make a big deal out of it,
no,
which is cool.
Yeah,
like I'm like, all right.
Well, because deep down he knew it was just a matter of time.
Right.
Yeah.
So and then Herbert's kind of like, just interviewing.
Yeah.
So he grabs Checo, and then they go, "Oh wait, Checo, we just found out, Max, you won the world championship." And Max like, "What?" Like they were doing that, and then they go into the upstairs to the kiss and cry room.
Yeah.
If we steal the figure skating term, or as they like to call it, the cool down room.
Yeah.
I always think it's more like the dry off room, but anyways. So like Max is up there, and like he's talking with Checo, and Charles comes in, and they're just all just like, and they're going, they're talking to Charles, and they were like, what happened? He goes, I shot the chicane, and it's like, what am I going to do? And he was like, Charles is like talking to Checo, and he goes, like, how close did I come to you? And he goes, it was close. When they came out, they got near each other. He goes, well, it was close. Yeah. And so they left it. And then obviously they found out they had the penalty.
Yeah.
Well, they found out in the pit lane they had the penalty. So the assumption was at that point that he really won it because he finished first and Charles finished third. That was the whole assumption.
Yeah.
No one had really factored in the points. So Button is up there. Somehow Button got up in there. And so Max they're going, hey, you won. He goes, won the thing? And he goes, yeah. And they go, you sure?
Yeah.
So he's like, oh. So then he goes into the other side of the room where he's going to go out. And he's sitting in this big ornamental chair. This was good.
Yeah, right.
So Karun goes, oh, he's sitting in the throne now. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of cool. So they're like 2 minutes of chit chat with that, and as the fire truck goes by, 2 minutes of sitting around like that, and then Max just goes, I feel lonely. He goes back into the other room, and it was awesome.
All that room was a giant wall video screen and a couch.
It was the most bizarre thing.
What?
And they were and all three of them were huddled around this. They were all huddled around this one table where they had the water. They didn't even have it spread out.
No.
It was like had Lewis and Nico throwing hats at each other, they actually would have drawn blood.
I know.
I mean, they were that close to each other.
Cat fight.
Jesus. It was pretty funny, though.
First fight.
Yeah, so then it was like, then it all comes out like, oh, you won. And, I think Crofty shed a tear, but I'm not sure. Anyways. So
he was just trying to keep it together, not like choke up.
Yeah. So with all this mess now, Checo is now in second by a point.
Yes.
And
he's gonna get P2.
I'm really pulling for Carlos to overhaul Georgie Porgy.
Oh yeah.
So now, so you know what I propose? Now that Max has won the world championship, do you put Yugi Tsunoda?
No. You don't do anything.
What is this?
You don't do anything until you at least seal the constructors.
This isn't 23X11 racing.
Okay.
XI Racing or Denny Hamlin Racing.
The driver moves and stuff like that. You gotta be careful with it.
If you're trying to compare that, it's Ty Gibbs or Bubba Wallace going over to Joe Gibbs for like 5 races.
What are you talking about?
I think
2311 took the guy in the 23 car out of that car and put him in the 45 car because they want both cars in like whatever that point circle thing is they have.
It's the same team. It's different numbers.
Yeah,
I think you're comparing apples to oranges. It doesn't make sense.
I still don't. You shouldn't do that. That's crap.
All right. Never mind. Never mind.
Forget.
Max already got it.
You're telling me you're telling me that like Dale Jr.'s at Hendricks and like he was going to jump in the Gordon's car. That's not happening.
Stop making a NASCAR reference. It doesn't work.
It's not working.
You're trying to tell me that you want to put Yuki Tsunoda in the Red Bull
for a few races.
No, why not? You are high as a kite.
They're not going to put Pierre Gasly in it. So I mean,
have another drink of your red wine.
Nate, the only way they do it is whenever they seal up the constructors title, because that's still not decided yet.
That is never going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either.
There is no way that it's going to ever happen.
And I think, well, actually, next year will be interesting at AlphaTauri, because guess what we haven't talked about?
We have the other Dutchman.
Is Nick de Vries is signed with AlphaTauri
excited about
because
that.
Pierre Gasly is off to Alpine.
Yeah.
So
right.
What did I say a few episodes ago?
2024.
Don't sleep on Nick de Vries.
Okay. Well,
2024 will be the all Dutch lineup at Red Bull.
Well, I'm not going to go that far. I'm still not going that far. Let's put it this. All right. So right now, if we're going to go that route, here's the deal. De Vries, assuming things hold course, and Gasly finishes 13th, the only way I'm going to say that happens is that De Vries finishes inside the top 10.
With the AlphaTauri?
Yes.
Oh, for next year you're talking.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No, De Vries has to show. Like he needs to become the number one and establish it next year against Yuki.
The book's still out on him with me. Okay.
Oh no. I'm not giving him full credit yet either. But
okay.
It's just there.
So, anyways, so I mean, right now that's the only real interesting fight. Well, no, Checo and Charles and Sainz and Russell.
Mm-hmm.
So now does Checo win Mexico? Yes.
Checo, yes, he will be gifted Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, thank God.
Imagine they gift it and the car blows up.
Oh no! Millions of Mexican fans just crying.
That would be the worst.
I've looked it up. Johnny Herbert has 3 race wins.
3 race wins. 2 with the Benetton.
2 with the Benetton in '95. He won the Silverstone the British Grand Prix, and the Italian Grand Prix that year.
At Monza.
Wow.
At Monza.
And then he won in the Stewart.
Okay. And he won in the Stewart in 1999 at the European Grand Prix, like you said, Nate, at the Nürburgring.
Very good, Nate.
Yep.
So,
I was almost going to say Hockenheim, but
no,
I think you're right.
Hockenheim was the German Grand Prix.
Did Barrichello win there in the Stewart?
2000?
No, in the Stewart.
No, in Ferrari.
Which year?
Look up Look up
2000.
Look up Stewart GP.
Hold on.
I think they had 2 wins. Anyways.
Team itself.
Yeah. Nate, let's talk some breaking news in F1. We got obviously Gasly's going off to Alpine to race with his good buddy Esteban.
Well, they grew up not far from each other. They grew up in Normandy.
Yes, where the Labrador heritage is from.
Sure is, yeah.
Normandy.
France. Yeah, right.
Yep.
So
that's cool. And then we have Nick going to Nick going over to AlphaTauri. Anyways, going to the future.
Rubens did not win.
He didn't win. How many Stewart Grand Prix did they only have 1 win?
Let's find out. Yes, only 1.
I think it was just a 1 win.
5 podiums and 1 pole position.
Oh, that's still pretty good. Little team could. That get Nick over there, and then now the big breaking news is that Pietro Fittipaldi will be doing 2 days of testing.
Yeah.
FP1 practicing with the Haas.
You don't think?
No, he is.
No. He is. Yeah. But what you're alluding to is that Pietro gets a seat next year.
Well, that's what I'm alluding to. Is he?
What do you mean? I ruined it. Nate was thinking that too.
I was so thinking that. I'm like, no. Do you really put Pietro Fittipaldi in?
Why not?
Is it? Oh, okay. Now Haas is just going to be like, oh wow, we've had a Schumacher, we've had a Fittipaldi. Like, come on.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
You're going to put the Italian Jesus in the car?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. F1 starts. Look, I was a big person of just say take him out of Alfa Romeo. But it's Haas. You get Daniel Ricciardo, get someone that has F1 start.
Danny Rick was offered the ride. He doesn't want it.
Okay.
I know. But it's funny. He's like, I want to stay in F1, but I don't want to stay in F1.
Right.
So he doesn't want to drive for a backmarker team.
I know.
Which I get it.
But I think there's a benefit to driving a slow car fast.
Like my thing is, the Haas is not the slowest car out there.
No.
The Haas has the most inconsistent drivers out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So maybe the Haas fits Danny's driving style and he just doesn't know it.
He doesn't know it.
He doesn't know it.
He's getting.
Obviously, he's in the, so my thing is, if you can't get Danny Rick, all right, I'm not 100% sold on the Hulk.
No.
I don't know who you get at this point.
Other than suck my balls, mate. Yeah. That's about it. And then I'm just not. I know what Giovinazzi brings. He brings the Ferrari motor.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you. I got him going the hypercar program. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. So we'll see. Look, all of a sudden he pops up and he's doing 2 tests. And this pops up out of nowhere.
That's a guaranteed ride for me.
They only needed to do one more test. They didn't.
Right.
Who was
one?
Who did their other one?
They did. They had somebody else in there.
Yeah, it was not Schumacher in 1. Right.
Somebody was it?
Was it Schwartzman or?
Yeah, I thought Schwartzman's doing the Ferrari one.
He's doing Ferrari.
Who's
the other kid?
Anyways,
I can't believe I'm blanking on this.
Logan Sargent's doing apparently at Austin, at Williams.
Okay, that'll be nice.
So, is Colton gonna do one or what?
Oh,
no, he's not now.
Why?
Who would he be doing it for?
McLaren.
Oh, McLaren.
Have
they announced it yet?
No, they haven't done anything yet.
Oh. Well, all they're doing is putting Palou and Ward in the car at the Red Bull ring, driving around out there doing. I'm surprised it's not snowing there. I know.
Anyways, I mean that happened. I mean, why wouldn't they put Herder in there in a Ward in Mexico?
Oh no, I agree. I
just put him in Danny Rick's car. Like he's not coming back next year, so it's like you're gonna sit out this one. What's he gonna do? He's not gonna fight it.
Yeah.
All right, so that's that, and then I just kind of want to go on that. I want to go back to the FIA too. The W Series folding.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah! Congrats to
Jamie Chadwick, and welcome to Andretti Autosport for 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be rooting her on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously.
I mean,
it was funny. I was seeing on Twitter that it was like, is she going to get F2? I'm like, no, IndyCar's kind of calling her name.
She can't, the money she gets.
There's no one's giving them money.
Yeah. The money she gets at the end of the season, she can take and go to IndyCar. She can go to Indy Lights.
Right. Indy Lights.
Okay. Yeah. She goes there, and I'll be honest with you, she finishes in the top 5, which I think she's capable of doing. Hell, if she wins the series, she gets, she gets the money to go to, do Indy for a couple races. So good for her. But are you kidding me? Like they're all they're talking about these initiatives and stuff, stuff that Lewis brought up.
I know.
And right under their nose, they're letting this fail.
Yeah.
First, I don't know if it's the FIA or F1, but like F1, you can't seriously help bank this thing. I mean, that's just bad. You can't bridge loan them, not bridge loan them. Just go, yeah, here you go for the rest of the season, and then we'll figure out next year.
Can't do what the NBA does.
Not help the WNBA?
No. That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. The NBA funds the WNBA. Like that's
but it's not. They don't really. They could do more.
I'm not saying they can't do more. I'm just saying that the reason.
But also WNBA putting the WNBA is in a no-win situation because they won't play it during the regular NBA season.
No.
And they put it like against baseball in the summer, and it's just like a forgotten sport. Unfortunately,
a lot of sports. Like a lot of less sport or lesser fan favorite sports that happen in America are screwed regardless because all the major sports take over during their respective seasons.
On the women's side, like tennis is obviously that's a dual event weekend. It's both men's and women's. I mean, unless they have like the Virginia Slims tournament, which was back in the day. That was a cigarette company, kids. It was Virginia Slims cigarettes. That's what sponsored it. Nate's over there laughing. So, anyways, but like tennis, because you're on the tour, it's both men's and women. Mm-hmm. The LPGA and the PGA, the LPGA does have all of their majors on network TV, and then everything else is covered on Golf Channel.
Yeah,
or at Peacock, I guess. So they do have a TV package. But like, you're telling me that F1 is raking in all this crap and money, and they can't fund that? They can't help fund this?
Yeah,
ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's disgusting. It really is. But anyways, congrats to Jamie. I feel bad because she couldn't. They were going to race. They were supposed to be at Austin, right? Mm-hmm. Again, get her exposure. Mm-hmm. She could have clinched the title there.
Well, not just her, but like everyone else too on the grid.
Yeah,
it was 20.
All the other drivers. There's 22 other women drivers.
20 women on the grid.
Great. So now they'll all be at Kelly Moss doing a fight out for the Kelly Moss Arrive and Drive program. I mean, Jesus, they got no place to go.
No, they're back. They're back after 2.5 years. They're back to square one.
They're back to square one.
So, which I mean, I don't know if that series was really going to go off anyway because it's like, well, where are they getting the funding? And I think
the funding was
hang on. So someone that said this was actually a step backwards was actually Pippa Mann, and I agreed with her from day one.
There was some notable women, women drivers that came out and went against it, and it's 50-50, and it's been like that.
My whole thing is, I think what Pippa was upset about was she was beyond the age bracket they were looking for. Okay.
All right.
And I'm not saying that she can't wheel a car. She can wheel a car.
Oh yeah.
All right.
She can qualify for the 8,500 too.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So case in point, she has the talent to do that. That's Fernando Alonso didn't have the talent one year.
Nope.
So
right.
I think some of it was they wanted it done on a level playing field, meaning against men drivers. I think some of that came out. Mm-hmm. Okay. But at the same point, you got to start somewhere because some of the women were not getting, like, if they brought a check, they weren't going to end up on the top tier of the Formula 3 grid. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, I don't know. I mean, I just find it disgusting that the season couldn't finish.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that is a real slap in the face.
Real slap in the face. And then, for the Formula 1, whoever, it's Formula 1. It's the FIA. It's just the organization body. But F1, like, they're a support series to you.
Right.
And they, like...
Didn't do anything?
Didn't do anything, but,
imagine letting F3 just fall.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, these cars are... They're F4 cars,
essentially what the W Series was there for was to develop drivers to feed into that.
Right.
So they should have been, the minimum purse at the end of the season should have been enough to get you a Formula 3 ride. That's what it should have been.
Right.
What? And not let someone continue like an
or
F2
if you took that money and you had bank on from a sponsor or whatever, and to go to F2. Okay? Simple as that. But to let it just oh, we're not going to do anything.
Yeah,
just I don't know. Yeah, just find it bad taste.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of what happened. Just continue the season. What was it? Only 3 races? Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. So, that kind of wraps up that. Bathurst.
Muddy.
Oh, jeez, what a whole weekend.
Yeah,
was rough. Top 10 shootout got rained out. Just a tough weekend. I mean,
good race, but
overall it was a great race.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good stuff going on. I mean, it was,
but just the 8 safety cars, a lot of
yeah, and a lot of it was down at the chase where the guys were just going in and like
they outbreak themselves
and then I like boom, they go across the mud there.
Well, right, and David Reynolds probably had the worst accident.
Did he get hit? Was that him that got hit?
Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't. I saw the Penrite car there, and I didn't know it was his car. But yeah, that was a nasty one.
Yeah. You saw the car rejoin, and you knew it was going to be bad because it just joined right in front of traffic.
Yeah. Just so. But the rest of Shane.
and Garth Tander.
Yeah, and Garth Tander.
Yeah. And then we had.
That was a good send off for Holden last race for them.
Race but the cool thing was Chazzy finished second. That was cool.
Yeah.
And then Cam.
He was the fastest guy on the track for a while.
Yeah. He proved it last year when they won. And then Cam Waters was third with James Moffat. So
he was trying, man. Yeah, Cam Waters was really trying, man, to win that race.
And I just want to put something out there. Somebody that's really kind of starting to creep up is Brock Feeney. In the other Red Bull car, there was a lot of kind of chit chat about him being too young, but it's like I think the guys at the Red Bull team, I think they kind of realized that he's going to need a year or two, and I think he's starting to kind of show it. So good on him for doing that.
Red Bull bringing in a young driver and everyone's giving him crap.
And then the other kid,
imagine that.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So I thought it was overall. I thought it was typical Bathurst. It's just those guys are insane. So I mean, just Jesus, I can't even picture driving on that track. Never mind in the rain. But good on Shane. He'll be in NASCAR
that guy's
next. He's coming to NASCAR next year.
I was just gonna say that. Oh man, he's gonna win Watkins Glen like next year. Or something.
I'm not so sure about that, but I'd like to see him in a NASCAR car.
Yeah.
Guy can wheel. So, anyways, just some quick racing notes from this week. Dalton Kellett will not be back at AJ Foyt.
Nope.
We don't know where he's going.
No. And we don't know who's filling the void either.
Right.
Any guesses?
Well, maybe there'll be a 2-car team. They don't necessarily need to be a 3-car team. Maybe there'll be 2. Could he be going to Juncos? Could be. I don't know. They have some. There's a Argentinian kid, I guess they're looking to now. That's Ricardo Juncos, being Argentinian, would like to do that. So, but Dalton brings funding. So, see where that ends up. So,
maybe Dalton Kellett does NASCAR Pinty Series.
No, he's definitely an open wheel guy.
Yeah,
he's definitely an open wheel guy. I don't know what other teams he could line up for right now. I don't know how much out there. Dale Coyne got 3 cars.
Yeah.
Could he end up back ever at Dreyer Reinbold for the 500? Mm-hmm. So
like just a 500? I don't know about that.
I mean he's got enough funding.
I guess Santino Ferrucci is out of the picture there. So I mean that could be a landing spot.
Well, he's the next coming in IndyCar. Mm-hmm. Santino.
Oh my God.
So, all right. Anything else, gents? All we got next week is NASCAR next week.
Another one of
Roll
these
the
weeks.
dice.
You want to give a recap on the Enduro, the NHKA Enduro?
So Saturday, went up to Canaan. NHKA did a 4-hour endurance race with the World Formula class and the LO206 class. Mm-hmm. 13 carts total. So kind of
was it 50-50?
Yeah, it was 50-50. It was a low turnout. I'll admit I thought there was going to be some more people there, but and then where do I start? Well, for one thing, the track configuration was a new one.
Yep.
So instead of running, they did a configuration that they haven't done. So we took if you guys know Canaan, we basically took the full road course, went in reverse, but instead of going through what is typically turns 1, 2, and 3 of the full road course that we normally do at Kartmania, they didn't do that section and used where the kid karts typically cut through.
It's also a motorcycle. Some of the motorcycle events they use that.
So we used that little section. Cut through there, and so we went in reverse. So pit out was where pit in typically is.
Yeah.
Right?
What was the feeling there? Was it gave more room in the pit area because we were doing those pit stops and stuff?
It just logistically made more sense.
Yeah.
Because the way because by coming through the little cut through, you basically could just peel right off into the pits and do it in a slow manner. Yeah. Whereas if you were coming, like we did the short course earlier in reverse, you'd be coming flying from turn 1, and none of that.
Yeah. Well, that's good news.
So the track configuration, I thought worked out well.
Yeah.
So that was good to see. So hopefully, maybe we'll run that next year. Who knows?
Who won World Formula?
So World Formula's race was good overall throughout the entire race. But Mike Kamara and Dave Nadeau took the win in that
Dave
class.
Came back.
Yeah,
congrats.
So that was a good win for them.
Dave and Mike.
And then in the battle for second came down between Jeff Gutterson. Jeff Gutterson and Rich Hemingway on one team, and Kyle Callahan and Kevin Georgantis in the other car.
Kevin reappears.
So I didn't race this weekend. I just helped wrench for Jeff and Rich because I am nursing a bruised rib. So that's that. And then but as I was wrenching for Jeff and Rich, they apparently during our second stint the brakes were fading and Jeff didn't really have brakes for the last
they finished third
hour, and they finished third.
That's all right.
So Jeff and Rich lost out on second because they didn't really have brakes, and Jeff was just kind of
because honestly like the one place you needed the brakes was at the end of that was probably it was cutting into
it was that other chicane. That was it. Really,
the chicane.
Sorry, not the chicane. The cut through.
The cut through because basically you were high speed all the way around.
Yeah, you go World Formula. You go behind the barn and then you go up the hill a little bit and then you brake hard into that. So that was your top three.
Did they get a trophy?
I think the winners are gonna. I think Mike said that the winners are gonna get a plaque at the banquet. I don't know how true that is.
Wow.
But it was a fun event and fun race.
Yeah, that's good.
There was a couple penalties handed out for pit lane violations for Kyle and Kevin, and then also for Freddie Fawcett and Jim Slade, because. I mean, I'll admit,
Did Freddie lit himself on fire or something?
No. So when you came in the pits, you're supposed to come to a complete stop and kill the motor. Kyle killed the motor, got out, but
the cart rolled.
But as he was getting out, the cart refired
because he didn't hit the button all the way.
It didn't kill us. Yeah,
it does that.
But he wasn't. Anyways, in my
rule.
Yeah, so that was that. So he had the penalty was 10 minutes.
Was Freddie thinking that he was at the F1 Enduro rental car league?
Freddie stopped, and then he went to go pull the cart off to go start working on it. Yeah. But the rule is once you stop and kill the motor, you have to go across the scales to weigh in.
Oh, and they didn't weigh in.
And so he went by, but as he was like just about to pass the scales, Jim was yelling at him like, no, go away. So then he backed it up, put on the scales. But
and they still penalized him?
Look, this is, in my opinion, I think they were kind of too soft penalties, but it was what the calls were made, and that's that. So
wait a minute. He self-penalized himself by backing up.
I'm not...
Anyway, all right, whatever.
I thought
I'm not the race director. So.
Yeah, I thought both of them were kind of soft.
Who was the race director?
Penalties weren't my call.
Okay.
So then, but regardless, I think, as I was pitting for Jeff and Rich, we kind of kept it to ourselves. We thought we were going to be able to get second
until the brakes
at the end. Yeah, until the brakes happened, because we did some fuel calculation during practice, and we figured that we'd come pretty close to making it on one pit stop. So
oh, that's good. Good time.
Yeah, and then fun. In the 206 class, it was.
Heard it wasn't much of a race.
Yeah, it was a dominant performance from Alex Gomes, Shea Stanley, and Will Juba.
There you go.
And because Mike posted, or he printed out the timesheet partway through practice, and those three were like 2 seconds clear of the closest kart. So it was.
So
they just needed to finish.
That
basically.
One, it looks like they need to do some recalculations on the weights.
No.
How were they 2 seconds faster?
Gearing and experience.
No one's run that. No one's run that track before.
No, and they guessed right on the gearing, because World Formula was the same situation. Everyone was guessing at the gearing. We even made Rich and Jeff. I helped them make a gear change during the race too.
Oh,
because we could visibly. I mean, Rich started the race, and you could see he could stay with the front pack.
Yeah.
But he was losing on the back straight, the long straight. So we were like, okay, well, if it came down to
what was the gear that you should have had?
We needed to go one tooth lower.
What should you used?
We went one tooth lower.
You're not gonna say.
No.
Oh, Jesus. Christ. Whatever.
I'll tell you at the track if you come ask.
All right.
So then, so we switched around the gear, and then
oh, good.
And it seemed to help.
Was it just a rear gear?
Yeah. It was just yeah.
All right. The front gear would be a little bit tough.
Yeah, that's plus you don't really have a whole lot of time for that.
Well, next year if we don't have to hang like 900 pounds on the cart, maybe we'll enter it.
Well, okay, so the weights. World Formula had to run 390, so that was what heavyweight was, and then 206 you could run 360. Honestly, there was enough of a speed difference that it didn't really make a difference.
I know, but for us to go from 360, what do we run? 365?
360.
360 to go to 390. That's 30 pounds. That's a ton of weight.
I agree. But you can do it.
I know, but it's just a lot of weight for us to put. Were they hanging weights like every? Were they changing weights?
Okay, let me put it this way. I race in lightweight, but Rich runs in heavyweight.
Yeah, I know.
And he weighs lighter than me.
So you see, which I never understood. But anyways,
no. I'm just for your confusion or your dilemma.
Mind, yeah.
But
they weren't changing. They weren't changing. Jeff and him weren't changing weights.
No,
like you got it.
No, they did.
Oh God.
No, they had a weight rack.
Yeah, I know. It's just,
so all you do is just.
I know.
And it's easy.
It's one more thing.
Yeah, but that's endurance racing. Welcome to the show.
I know, but I just think the cart should weigh 390 on the scale. No driver. That's just my opinion.
No driver. 390.
390.
A cart weighs 200 pounds. Drive.
That's gonna understeer like crazy.
You can't.
All right, let's make it whatever.
That's Formula S.
Well, no. How about if you said the car's got to weigh 250?
That's still 60 pounds you got to throw on the cart.
All right. So let's say, what do we got on it? We got nothing on ours. What are we talking about?
I don't know what you're aiming for here.
I'm just trying to avoid having driver weight changes and stuff.
You're not. Because every driver is gonna.
Yeah, I know.
Because it doesn't matter. Every driver has to weigh the same weight then at that point.
I guess the only equalizer would be the rain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Just trying to even up the field.
But then last shout out, Jim Paulette did the event solo.
Who was a guest on our podcast.
Yes.
And he was doing the event solo to raise money for Be the Match. And he, I think when I was talking to him, he said he got donations up to about somewhere between $7 to $8 per lap, and he ended up completing about 191 laps. So he raised about $1,400 to $1,500.
Congrats to Jim.
So yeah, well done for him, and great job for that. So
and big shout out to the guys from NHKA for thinking outside the box and doing something fun at the end of the season.
Yeah, so, and also huge thank you to all the corner workers that stood out there for 4 hours.
Good time there. Mm-hmm. Nate, we could have gone and done that.
Yeah, we could have done that. We could have gone to turn 1 or whatever.
I think if I wasn't busy,
I would have waved at Alex.
I think if I wasn't busy stuff, I would have definitely helped out with that. But so everybody that stayed overnight didn't freeze?
No, they were all walking around when I got there. So
did Gomesy come up?
He went up the night before.
Oh, all right. Yeah, Congrats to Alex for doing that. Yeah. Did he stay in a hotel, or did he put his?
Yeah, he stayed in. He stayed in at the Hemingway Inn.
He was in the trailer with Rich. No way.
Yeah. And then because of his hospitality was so nice, I heard that Rich got a special test drive on Monday in a two-stroke car because he's going to be racing.
Was it Monday or Sunday?
Monday.
What did they do Sunday night? Sunday.
Rich stayed at Rick's house, and then
Rick who?
Brown.
Rick lives in Maine.
I don't.
Oh.
He was up there for the weekend, so he asked,
right.
so he did that, and then Alex had, I guess, something on Sunday that he had to go to, and then he drove back up there. So
he drove back up.
Yeah.
Wow.
He said he did this last year too, and when they were doing it this year, he made the stupid mistake again. So
Jesus. Well, good for Gomesy.
Yeah.
All right. Congrats to Rich for jumping back into two-stroke.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that'll wrap up episode 23. We'll have a little NASCAR discussion next week, and maybe we'll get a special guest star or a guest host, somebody on.
Someone.
Come in, we'll do some chat. Maybe we'll get Chris Catalano back on. We can talk about NASCAR again, see if Chris is available.
Maybe we'll get RJ.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think RJ's coming. I don't think that's happening. He's like, what? But anyways, so appreciate.
We'll get Joe Kachubis on.
Yeah, Joe Kachubis.
Brownie.
All right. Anyway, so that'll wrap up this week's episode, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yep.
Good night.
Thank you guys for listening to the Redness Podcast, hosted by Christian Abbott, Sean Abbott, and Nathan Lavin. It's produced by Christian Abbott, and music is by Alex Ward and Harrison Tate.